Welcome to our newest release, the High Hall, fully compatible with the Descent into Avernus module. I'm Ben, the map creator here at Beneos Battlemaps. At first I thought this would be a quick project because the High Hall, let's be honest, doesn't appear too eventful in the book. And oh boy was I wrong. The more I worked on it, the more ideas kept popping up and I ended up adding a ton of effects and details, making this a massive environment I'm sure you'll love.
Let's start by looking at the Foundry VTT overview. You'll see not only the floors and interiors of the High Hall, but also the surrounding ruins and a few fun extras we'll talk about in a moment. From the GM perspective, you can keep track of the entire location at once with this overview. Now, switching to the player view, we begin at the gate, surrounded by crumbled walls and debris. Your party might fight through here, sneak past enemies or investigate. It's entirely up to you what story you want to tell here and how you want to run this area with your party. I wanted to highlight the devastation brought about by a hellish conflict like this, what is happening in Elturel. The cracked ground isn't just a texture, but actually modeled in 3D for extra depth and dynamic shadows. I also developed a new, more dynamic light source you can see here for a more dramatic shading. Plus, you'll see sparks drifting in the air like usual normal particle effects. And listen to the background audio. We have added two 10-minute ambience tracks, one for the interior of the High Hall and for the rooftop, perfectly matching our Elturel release we've made 2 releases ago. We also added individual sound effects like usually, scattered throughout the map so you can enjoy the signature Beneos audio experience. Reading about the apocalypse is one thing, but as you can see and hear, actually hearing and experiencing it at your table is on a whole different level. I hope you agree. The module suggests that players might, for instance, climb walls or navigate other unusual paths, often impossible with standard maps provided by the module. That's why I fully modeled the entire area, so your players can go wherever they like. Official references to the High Hall are sometimes contradictory in layout, so I tried to create a flexible version that captures the spirit of all of them. Moving inside, we reach the foyer with its massive statues, Zariel of course in the module, but it could also represent angels or ordinary devils depending on your campaign. The space has a striking symmetry, I love this, and it feels truly huge, just as the module implies. As you can see on the ground, I built the 5-foot grid organically into the floor tiles, so you can even play without a visible overlay if you prefer it that way. The cathedral itself is enormous. Some people shrink it because the module technically uses 10-foot squares, but I wanted to preserve the epic scale. Here, you'll find the entire interior on one single battle map. In the center, at the altar, there is a hidden lever in the center that can be open a secret passage. Just click open or close in Foundry VTT as Dungeon Master and it will open the hand. That leads to the catacombs, which we'll cover in our next release, hopefully. Inspired by The Alexandrian, a well-known blog also covering the Descent into Avernus module, I included a second secret entrance to the catacombs in the southern altar. You can open or close it with a click, complete with its own sound effect like we did with the hand. The module doesn't really detail the rest of the building, like the offices or administrative areas, so I added the southern staircase that goes up to the rooftop. I wanted the High Hall to be more than just a linear corridor, instead serving all sorts of scenarios, not only for the module, from infiltration to all-out siege and everything in between. One floor up, there's the choir level with seating areas, a massive organ and tower barracks. Besides the organ, this area in the official module doesn't have much to offer. But I always ask the question, how is this place used? What can be here? What is the purpose of this area in the High Hall? And I decided to make it a guard quarter, where the guards can rest during their duty, chat and train and so on. We also added NPCs you can interact with on the map, and the artwork is also part of the release, of course. Using the newly added staircase, we get to the rooftop. Like many other maps in this release, this is also newly added. And look at this huge, massive orb of devastation. I took inspiration from a battle map created by Lou Bro, featuring a dark blue animated sphere hovering over the High Hall, the companion of course, with a pretty dramatic perspective. In this version it sucks in debris and looks like a menacing omen. You'll also notice floating rubble off in the distance, which may not be fully explained in the lore provided by the module, but really sells that apocalyptic vibe. The rooftop is divided by sawtooth-like architecture, creating neat chase or combat opportunities where archers can duck behind roof segments, vision is partially blocked and so on. As you can see, I always, while creating a map, ask myself, how is this map used? How can it be used? What gameplay opportunities does it offer for what kind of story? And I try to support as many use cases as possible with the battle maps I create. Some of the concept arts display a hovering tower that has been destroyed, and I also took inspiration from the Alexandrian, who suggest to use this floating towers as some kind of goal. So I added a battle map displaying this floating tower debris where players can hop on or fight on against flying devils or to retrieve a magical artifact. Finally, back to the GM overview. This release features 12 animated battle maps and 12 animated sceneries, 2 10-minute ambience tracks, multiple placed sound effects, also newly added sound effects, and 2 intro sequences, also some custom-made character token icons. And as always, each map also comes with 3D rendered handouts you can show to your players to set a scene or explain something in detail.
If you support us on Patreon, you can install all of this in Foundry VTT with a single click. We also offer static versions of maps for free on our Patreon. If you have any questions, hop on our Discord. We're always happy to help. I hope you'll have as much fun in the High Hall as I had creating it. And next time we head down into the catacombs. I'm Ben from Beneos Battlemaps, and enjoy your epic adventures at the table with our stuff.